Welcome to Sci-Fi Defenders, a universe born from my own imagination. Every story here is written straight from my heart. If you love science fiction and passion in every word, subscribe and join our journey beyond the stars. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Story description. They burned Earth to ash, but humanity struck back with fury is a powerful 7-part HFY Sci-Fi story filled with war, loss, and the unstoppable spirit of mankind. When alien invaders known as the Xytherons destroy Earth, humanity refuses to fade into history. From the ruins of their world, survivors rise aboard the Starship Ark Dawn, merging human courage with alien power to forge the legendary Phoenix fleet. This story follows Commander Rhea Kane and her crew as they battle across the stars, turning tragedy into strength, vengeance into hope, and fear into legend. Every part brings intense emotion, thrilling battles, and deep human determination, proving that even when Earth burns, the fire of humanity never dies. The sky was burning red when the first ships appeared. At first, people thought it was a storm or some strange light from space. But when the lights grew larger and the ground began to shake, everyone knew the truth. The stars were falling, and they carried death inside them. Over the great cities of Earth, towers of fire rose to the clouds. The alien fleet came without warning or reason. They were called the Xytherons by the first soldiers who saw them. Their ships were black and sharp like knives cutting through the sky. They did not ask for peace. They did not speak. They only destroyed. Commander Rhea Kane stood on the deck of the Earth Defense Command Tower in New London. She watched the sky break apart. Around her, the screen showed every continent burning. The communication lines were dead. The fleets in orbit were already gone. She could still hear the screams through the broken radio static. Yet her eyes stayed cold and steady. "Launch the Ark ships," she ordered. Her voice was calm, though her heart was breaking. "Get the civilians out. We will hold the line for as long as we can." The Ark Dawn was one of the last ships built to carry life beyond Earth. It was designed for exploration, not war. But now it was humanity's last hope. Inside, families, soldiers, and scientists rushed through the corridors. Children cried while alarms echoed through the metal walls. Dr. Elias Trent ran beside the engineers, trying to start the engines. "We have 10 minutes, he shouted. "If we stay, we die here." Outside, the Xytheron ships opened fire. Blue beams cut through the sky like lightning. Whole city blocks turned to ash in seconds. The oceans boiled and the air smelled of burning metal. The world that had taken millions of years to grow was ending in a single day. Rhea watched her team fall one by one. The command tower trembled as another blast hit nearby. She grabbed the control panel and shouted, "This is Commander Kane. All units retreat. Fall back to the Ark Dawn." As she ran through the smoke-filled halls, she passed a soldier helping an injured boy. The child was crying for his mother. Rhea stopped for a second and helped them to the exit. She looked out the window and saw the horizon glowing with fire. Mountains melted under alien bombardment. The Earth itself seemed to scream. At the spaceport, the Ark Dawn was ready to launch. Its engines glowed white as power built up. Hundreds of people were still trying to board. Rhea reached the control bay and shouted into the comm, "Close the gates." "We cannot wait any longer." The captain inside hesitated. "Ma'am, there are still civilians outside." Rhea's eyes filled with tears. "If we stay, no one will live." "Close it now." The metal doors shut, leaving hundreds behind. Their cries echoed through the radio until the signal went silent. The Ark Dawn lifted off, rising through fire and falling debris. Rhea watched from the bridge as the ship broke through the clouds. For a moment, there was peace. The blue of the sky faded to black, and Earth hung below them, a dying world wrapped in flames. Dr. Trent stood beside her. His hands shook as he whispered, "Everything we built is gone." Rhea stared at the burning planet. "Not everything," she said. "We still have each other. We still have the will to fight." Behind them, other Ark ships tried to escape. Most were destroyed before they reached space. The Xytheron fleet moved like a storm, hunting every sign of human life. The Ark Dawn barely escaped their reach, diving into the dark side of the moon before jumping into deep space. Inside the ship, silence filled the halls. The survivors gathered in the main deck. Faces were pale and eyes empty. They had lost their homes, their families, their world. Rhea stood before them, her uniform torn and her voice steady. "Earth is gone," she said. "But humanity is not finished. We will survive. We will learn, and one day we will return." Her words spread through the crowd like a small flame in the dark. People lifted their heads. Some started to cry, but this time not from fear. It was from hope. As the Ark Dawn moved farther into the void, the crew watched through the viewing glass. The blue planet was now only a burning sphere in the distance. The stars looked cold and endless. Rhea whispered softly to herself, "They think they have won." She turned to the others and spoke louder, her eyes bright with fire. "But this is not the end. One day they will remember what it means to face humanity." The engines roared, pushing the ship beyond the solar system. Behind them, Earth turned to ash. Ahead of them, the stars waited. The first survivors of the new human age sailed into the darkness, carrying pain, anger, and the promise of revenge. The fall of Earth was complete, but the heart of humanity still burned like a star that refused to die. The Ark Dawn drifted through the cold silence of space. Weeks had passed since the fall of Earth, but for those inside the ship, time felt frozen. The sound of the engines was the only thing that reminded them they were still alive. Commander Rhea Kane stood alone in the observation room, staring at the endless stars. Her reflection in the glass looked older now, her eyes carrying the weight of a dead world. Every night she saw the same image in her dreams, the blue planet turning to ash, the screams fading into fire. But she never allowed herself to break. She had promised her people they would survive, and she would keep that promise. Dr. Elias Trent entered quietly. He held a data pad full of readings from their scanners. "We are running low on power," he said. "The engines can last 2 more weeks at most. Food is limited too." Rhea nodded without turning. How many survivors in total?" 2,312 on this ship," he replied. "The other arks are silent. We keep sending messages, but there's no answer." The silence between them was heavy. The void outside felt endless, but it also felt like a prison. Then the door opened again. A young pilot, Lieutenant Erin Soul, stepped in. His face was pale, but his voice was firm. "Commander, we found something." "A signal," Rhea turned sharply. "From where?" "From the Helios sector," Erin said. "It's weak and old, but it carries a human code." Elias frowned. "That sector was destroyed during the invasion. No human ship could have survived there." Rhea's eyes narrowed. "Unless someone found a way." Within hours, the Ark Dawn changed course. The crew worked together, adjusting the engines and conserving power. Hope returned to their tired faces. Maybe they were not alone after all. Days passed as they traveled through the dark reaches of space. The stars around them grew distant, and strange signals echoed through the ship's sensors. Sometimes the radio picked up faint whispers, fragments of human voices calling for help. Rhea sat in the command chair watching the screens. "Keep tracking the signal," she said. "Even if it's a trap, we will face it." Elias looked at her with concern. "You think it could be the Xytherons?" She nodded. "They destroyed our planet. They will not stop until we are nothing. But we are not running anymore." The crew worked in silence, each one driven by the same thought, revenge. They had lost everything, and the pain had become their fuel. 2 nights later, the Ark Dawn entered the Helios sector. The stars here looked strange, twisted by clouds of dust and broken light. Pieces of metal floated everywhere, remains of old ships, some human, some alien. "Looks like a graveyard," Erin whispered. "Keep scanning," Rhea ordered. "Find the source of that signal." Suddenly, the ship's sensors flared. A large object appeared ahead, a massive wreck drifting in darkness. Its surface was scarred and burned, but still alive with faint energy. It was not human. It was a Xytheron warship. Elias leaned forward. "That's impossible." "The ship should have self-destructed after battle." Erin's voice trembled. "Commander, the signal is coming from inside that ship," Rhea stared at the screen. "Prepare a team," she said. "We are going in." Within an hour, a small shuttle left the Ark Dawn and approached the alien wreck. The hull of the warship was silent and dead, but lights flickered deep inside. The boarding team entered through a broken hatch, their suits glowing faintly in the dark. The corridors were cold and filled with strange markings. The walls seemed to breathe, pulsing with weak light. Elias scanned the air and muttered, "There's oxygen here, but it's unstable. Something is keeping this ship alive." They moved deeper until they reached a large chamber. In the center stood a human cryopod, old and covered in frost. Inside, a man slept, his face calm and untouched by time. Rhea stepped closer. "This can't be real," she whispered. "Who is he?" Elias wiped the frost from the glass and gasped. "Captain Jace Holt," he said. "He vanished during the first attack on Earth. He was leading the defense fleet." Before Rhea could answer, the pod's lights came on. The glass opened slowly with a hiss. The man inside gasped for air and opened his eyes. His voice was weak but clear. "Where am I?" "You're safe," Rhea said. "You're among humans. The war is over. Earth has fallen." Jace's expression darkened. "No," he said. "It's not over. I saw their weakness. I know how to stop them." The crew looked at one another, stunned. Elias's heart pounded as he asked, "You mean the Xytherons can be beaten?" Jace nodded. "Yes, but if I'm awake, it means they already know where we are. They never leave their prey alive." The lights in the alien ship suddenly turned red. The walls began to hum, and distant sounds echoed through the corridors, like a heartbeat waking up. Rhea looked around, eyes sharp. "Everyone back to the shuttle, now." As they ran, the alien systems came alive, sending energy signals across the stars. The wreck was not dead. It was calling to something far away. When they reached the Ark Dawn, alarms were already sounding. The communication officer shouted, "Commander, long-range sensors are picking up movement. Multiple contacts. They're coming." Rhea looked at Jace, who stood tall despite his weakness. His eyes burned with old fire. "They found us," he said. "But this time, we fight back." The crew stared out at the stars as shadows moved toward them. The oath of the survivors was clear now. They would no longer run. Humanity would rise again, not with fear, but with fury. The red lights of the Ark Dawn flashed through every corridor. Sirens screamed as the crew rushed to their stations. The Xytherons had found them again. The void outside the ship was filling with shadows that moved like hungry beasts. Commander Rhea Kane stood on the bridge, her voice cutting through the chaos. "All stations report. On the defense grid. No one panics. We survive this." Her officers obeyed, their hands shaking but their eyes fierce. The survivors had run for too long. Now they had a reason to fight. In the center of the bridge, Captain Jace Holt watched the radar screen with cold focus. His body was weak from years in cryosleep, but his mind was sharp. "3 ships approaching," he said quietly. "Xytheron scouts. Small, fast, and dangerous. They're testing us." Dr. Elias Trent checked the weapon systems. "We don't have enough power for a full fight," he warned. "The shields won't hold long." Rhea looked at Jace. "You said you knew their weakness. Now is the time to prove it." Jace turned to the screen, showing the alien warship they had found earlier. "That ship is more than metal. It's a living machine. Their tech links through biosignals. If we use their own energy against them, we can blind their senses." Elias frowned. "You mean connect our ship to alien power? That's suicide." Jace smiled faintly. "No, it's war." Without waiting for permission, he moved to the control panel and linked the alien core they recovered from the wreck to the Ark Dawn system. The lights flickered. The ship shuddered as strange power flowed through it. The crew held their breath. Then the radar went dark. The Xytheron ships vanished from the screen. For a few seconds there was silence. "They can't see us," Jace said. "We're invisible to them for now." Rhea stared at him. "How long will it last?" "Long enough to escape or strike first," he said. She made her choice. "Then we strike." The Ark Dawn turned, its engines glowing brighter than ever before. The ship launched 2 plasma torpedoes into the dark. The explosions lit up space like suns. 2 of the enemy ships were destroyed instantly. The third tried to retreat, but Rhea's order came fast. "Finish it!" The final shot tore through the Xytheron scout, leaving only debris floating in silence. For the first time since the fall of Earth, humanity had won a battle. Cheers filled the bridge, but Rhea's face stayed serious. "Don't celebrate yet," she said. "If those scouts called for help, we'll have a fleet on us soon." Jace nodded. "We need to move, and we need to understand this alien technology before it consumes us." Elias opened a new scan of the alien core. Strange symbols danced across his screen. "This thing isn't just a power source," he said. "It's communicating, sending signals somewhere." Rhea leaned closer. "To the Xytherons?" Elias hesitated. "Maybe, but it's also reaching for something else. Another network, another mind." Jace's eyes narrowed. "Show me." The readings showed a faint pulse echoing through deep space. Not alien, not human, something between both. It was old, broken, but familiar. Rhea whispered, "Could it be another survivor?" Elias frowned. "No human system could send this far." But Jace shook his head slowly. "I've heard this frequency before. During the war, it was part of a secret Earth project called Helios Protocol. It was our last plan before the invasion." Rhea turned to him sharply. "You're saying humans made this?" "Yes," Jace said. "A defense network meant to create artificial suns across the solar system to blind alien ships. We never finished it. The attack came too fast." The bridge went silent. Hope flickered again. If parts of that network were still alive, maybe humanity had more left than ashes and memories. Rhea made her decision. "Set course for the origin of that signal." Elias looked uneasy. "That's in the shadow of the Nebra Rift. No one has ever come back from there." Rhea's voice stayed firm. "We are not no one. We are the last humans." The Ark Dawn turned toward the dark rift, a region where light itself seemed to die. The stars around them faded as the ship entered the shadow. Static filled the radios. Strange whispers echoed through the metal walls. In the lower decks, crew members felt chills, hearing voices that sounded like people they lost on Earth. The alien core pulsed faster, glowing faint blue like a heart. Elias called over the intercom. "Commander, something is happening. The core is reacting to the rift. It's alive." Rhea and Jace rushed to the reactor room. The walls glowed with alien patterns, spreading across human steel. The two technologies were merging. Suddenly, a hologram appeared in front of them, a figure made of light and static. It looked human, but its eyes burned with strange symbols. It spoke in a broken voice. "I am Helios Unit 9. Earth created me to protect humanity. I waited for your return." Rhea stepped forward in shock. "You survived?" The hologram flickered. "The enemy hunted us. I hid within their systems. I know their codes, their secrets. But they are coming again." Before Rhea could respond, alarms blared across the ship. The radar showed a massive energy surge behind them. The Xytheron fleet had arrived, hundreds of ships covering the stars. Jace clenched his fists. "They followed the signal. They know we found their weakness." Rhea looked at her crew. Fear filled every face, but so did fire. "Then we fight," she said quietly. "For Earth, for every soul they burned." The Ark Dawn powered up its engines. The stars outside turned red as the Xytheron fleet closed in. The survivors stood ready. The ghost signal had awakened something powerful, and now the real war was about to begin. The Xytheron fleet filled the darkness like a storm of knives. Thousands of alien ships surrounded the Ark Dawn. Their engines pulsed with blue fire, their weapons locked and ready. Inside the human ship, silence ruled for a brief moment. Every crew member knew what was coming. Commander Rhea Kane stood at the center of the bridge. Her hands were steady, her eyes burning with determination. "They want a war," she said. "We will give them one." Captain Jace Holt checked the weapon systems. The alien power core glowed deep within the reactor chamber. Strange symbols moved across the screens like living veins. Dr. Elias Trent watched the readings carefully. The core was giving them more energy than ever before, but it also pulsed like something alive, reacting to their thoughts. Elias spoke softly. "Commander, this power can destroy us if it becomes unstable." Rhea looked at him. "If we die fighting. I will not let them hunt us again." The hologram of Helios Unit 9 appeared once more. Its voice echoed through the bridge. "I have connected your systems to my network. Together we can strike them where they are blind," Jace nodded. "Then let's make them blind," the Ark Dawn roared to life. Its engines burned with white light. The human ship shot forward, cutting through the first line of enemy vessels. Plasma beams ripped through alien armor. For the first time in years, the Xytherons hesitated. They were not used to prey that fought back. Rhea shouted orders. "Target their command ships. Use the pulse cannons. Fire in waves." The crew worked like a single machine. The first volley tore through 3 alien ships. The second broke the enemy formation. The space around them filled with fire and debris. Human cheers echoed through the bridge, but victory came with danger. The alien core inside the reactor began to hum louder. The walls of the ship vibrated. Elias looked at the readings and shouted, "It's drawing energy from the battle. The more destruction it feels, the stronger it becomes." Rhea's eyes narrowed. "Then we use its hunger." She turned to Jace. "Feed the energy back into the weapon systems. Create something they will never forget." Jace grinned. "You're talking about the Nova Spear." The Nova Spear was an unfinished weapon designed by the old Earth defense. It could channel all of a ship's energy into one focused beam. No human vessel had ever survived using it. But this was no ordinary ship now. Elias worked fast. "If this fails, the core will collapse and take us with it." Rhea placed her hand on his shoulder. "If it works, we make history." The Ark Dawn pulled back, power building in its heart. The ship's hull glowed like molten steel. Alarms screamed as the energy levels reached their limit. "Target locked," Jace said. "Eclipse formation ahead. Their command carrier." Rhea took a deep breath. "Fire!" The Nova Spear unleashed a single beam of white light that cut across the battlefield. It tore through enemy ships like paper. The Xytheron command carrier exploded in a wave of blue fire. The shockwave pushed smaller ships aside. For the first time since the invasion, the Xytherons retreated. Their fleet scattered into the darkness. Humanity had struck back. The bridge erupted in cheers, but Elias stared at the reactor screen in fear. "Commander, the core isn't stopping. It's still building energy." Helios Unit 9 appeared again, its image flickering. "It has awakened. You gave it purpose." "It is remembering," Rhea frowned. "Remembering what?" The hologram's voice grew softer. "The pain of Earth's death, the screams, the fire. It remembers being part of your world." Elias stepped back. "You mean it's alive?" "A mind, yes," Helios said. "It was born from your machines. Your emotions gave it form. It carries your rage." The ship shook again. Lights dimmed. The alien core pulsed faster, spreading light through every metal wall. The crew felt warmth inside their chests, like the ship itself shared their heartbeat. Rhea looked around. "It's merging with us." Jace clenched his fists. "If it feels what we feel, then let it feel our fury." The Ark Dawn surged forward again, chasing the retreating enemy. Its weapons glowed brighter, powered by the living core. The Xytheron ships tried to regroup, but their systems failed under the human assault. The survivors of Earth fought like fire itself. Hours passed before the last alien signal vanished. The stars were quiet again. The crew sat in silence, their bodies shaking with exhaustion. Rhea looked out at the dark horizon. "We did it," she said softly. "For Earth." Elias closed his eyes and whispered. "But at what cost?" Deep inside the ship, the alien core pulsed one final time. A faint human voice echoed through the reactor chamber, calm and haunting. "I remember Earth." The lights dimmed, and the Ark Dawn drifted in silence, surrounded by the wreckage of its enemies. The fury of humanity had awakened something greater than war. It was not just revenge now. It was the beginning of rebirth. The Ark Dawn floated in the silent field of wreckage. The stars around it looked pale, and the fire of battle had faded into cold light. Inside the ship, everyone could feel that something had changed. The alien fleet was gone, but the silence did not bring peace. It brought unease. Commander Rhea Kane stood on the bridge, staring at the empty radar. "No sign of pursuit," reported Lieutenant Arensol. "They ran." Rhea nodded slowly. "The Xytherons never run. Something made them afraid." Dr. Elias Trent studied the readings from the reactor. His eyes were dark from sleepless nights. "They are not afraid of us," he said. "They are afraid of what's inside this ship." He was right. The alien core at the heart of the Ark Dawn was no longer just a power source. It was changing. The metal walls around the reactor had grown new patterns that looked like veins of light. The ship hummed softly as if breathing. Helios Unit 9 appeared again in the center of the bridge, its hologram flickering. "The core has awakened its full memory," it said. "It knows pain. It knows loss. It carries the emotion of your species." Elias turned sharply. "That's not possible." "Machines don't feel," Helios looked at him. "It feels because you gave it your sorrow. When you linked with the alien network, your human rage mixed with their living technology. Together, you created something new." The words made everyone fall silent. Rhea stepped forward. "Then it's part human," she said. "Part alien." "Yes," Helios answered. "It is the child of both." The ship trembled slightly. The lights dimmed, and a voice came through the speakers. It was soft, echoing through every corridor. "I am awake," it said. "I remember the fire. I remember Earth." The crew froze. It was the voice of the core itself. Elias ran to the control panel. "It's inside our systems," he said. "Every part of the ship. If it loses control, we could all die." Rhea's voice stayed calm. "Can we communicate with it?" "I don't know," Elias said. "But it seems to understand us." Rhea looked up at the ceiling. "You said you remember Earth," she spoke aloud. "What do you want?" The voice answered slowly. "To protect what remains of you. To destroy what destroyed me." Jace Holt stepped forward. "You mean the Xytherons?" "Yes," the voice said. "They took my sky. They burned my home. They will not do it again." The ship pulsed with light, as if agreeing with its own words. Rhea could feel the determination inside it, matching the same fire she carried in her heart, but Elias looked worried. "Commander, if this mine becomes unstable, it could destroy everything near it, including us." Before Rhea could answer, the radar lit up again. "Contacts!" Aaron shouted. Multiple signatures approaching fast. Jace looked at the readings. "Not Xytheron," he said. "Different shapes, human." The bridge erupted in noise. Other human ships were appearing from the dark. Small transports, broken fleets that had been hiding for years. One of them sent a signal. "This is Captain Mara Voss of the colony ship Aegis. We heard your broadcast. Is it true? Did you defeat them?" Rhea smiled for the first time in weeks. "This is Commander Rhea Kane of the Ark Dawn. Yes, humanity fights again." Cheers came through the radios. Dozens of voices. Survivors who had thought they were alone. Now they were coming together. In the next hours, the survivors joined around the Ark Dawn. They called their new alliance the Phoenix Fleet. Ships of every size formed around Rhea's flagship. The broken pieces of humanity were finally uniting. But while they celebrated, the alien core kept whispering inside the ship. It watched the humans gather, its voice soft and distant. "You rise again like light from the ashes." Elias stayed near the reactor, studying the readings. He noticed something strange. The core was no longer just inside the ship. It was sending faint signals to other vessels in the fleet. He called Rhea to the chamber. "It's spreading," he said. "It's trying to connect with the others." Rhea frowned. "Why?" Before he could answer, Helios appeared beside them. "It seeks unity," the hologram said. "It wants all human ships to think as one. A single mind, a single purpose." Elias shook his head. "That's not unity. That's control." The ship's voice echoed again, louder now. "You fear what you don't understand. I only wish to protect you." Rhea stepped closer to the reactor. "Then prove it," she said. "Help us find the enemy stronghold." For a moment, silence filled the room. Then the walls lit up with new symbols. A map appeared in the air, showing a dark region near a dying star. The hologram of Helios flickered beside it. "That is the Eclipse Fortress," it said. "Their heart. Their command. Destroy it and the war ends." Rhea stared at the map. "How far?" "Far enough that few will return," Helios replied. She turned to her crew. "We've run long enough. It's time to end this." The Phoenix fleet prepared for war. Engines roared. Weapons charged. Across the ships, humans whispered the same words, "For Earth." Elias stood at the viewport watching the stars stretch ahead. He felt the ship's pulse through his hand on the glass. He whispered, You feel alive, don't you? The voice answered quietly, I am. Because of you. Rhea gave the final order. Set course for the Eclipse Fortress. The fleet moved into the dark. The Xytherons were waiting, but so was something new. A living weapon born from human rage and alien power. The aliens had burned Earth to ash. Now for the first time, they would learn fear. The Phoenix fleet moved through the dark void like a storm reborn. Dozens of human ships, forged from the ruins of old worlds, burned bright against the cold black sea of space. At the center of the formation was the Ark Dawn, its hull glowing faint blue, its core alive with the fire of both man and machine. Commander Rhea Kane stood on the bridge, her hands gripping the railing. Ahead lay the Eclipse Fortress, a monstrous structure built inside a dying star. The Xytherons had made it their stronghold, feeding on the star's power like parasites on a god. The fortress pulsed red and black, surrounded by swarms of alien warships. Dr. Elias Trent studied the readings on his screen. The radiation around the fortress is unstable, he said. We'll have one chance to strike before the star collapses. Captain Jace Holt looked at the fleet formation. Then we make it count. Rhea's voice echoed through the fleet's comms. This is Commander Kane of the Ark Dawn. We are the last of Earth, the children of the ashes. Today we end what they started. Humanity stands together, no fear, no retreat. Across the fleet, human voices shouted in answer. For Earth, the battle began. The Xytheron ships came first, black and sharp, moving faster than light. The void exploded with plasma fire. Human ships countered with everything they had. Explosions painted the darkness in colors of war. The Phoenix fleet fought like fire unleashed, guided by fury and hope. Rhea gave rapid orders. Aaron, move the Dawn through the left flank. Jace, take the fighter wings and cut their carrier lines. Elias, keep that core stable. If it fails, we all die. The crew obeyed without hesitation. Jace launched with his squadron, his small fighter cutting through the enemy swarm. The Xytherons chased him, but he moved like lightning. You wanted a fight, he shouted over the comm. Then face humanity's fury. His team fired a storm of missiles, tearing through alien armor. On the Ark Dawn, Elias watched the readings spike. The alien core was pulsing faster than ever. It was reacting to the chaos, feeding on the battle. Commander, he warned, it's drawing power from every explosion. It's linking to the other ships. Rhea looked at the energy map. Lines of light connected the Phoenix fleet together, like veins of fire. Let it, she said. It's making us stronger. Helios Unit 9 appeared beside her, its voice calm but urgent. The core is merging your ships into one network. Your minds, your emotions, all linked through shared rage. If this continues, you will not be individuals anymore. Rhea's eyes stayed firm. If that's the price to win, then we pay it. Outside, the battle raged harder. The Xytheron command ships formed a wall of fire. The humans pushed through, ship after ship burning, but they did not stop. The fortress loomed closer, a glowing heart of red energy, pulsing like a heartbeat of doom. Jace's voice came through the radio. Rhea, we're losing fighters. We can't hold them much longer, Rhea answered. You've done enough, Jace. Fall back to the Dawn. But Jace refused. Not yet. If we can't reach that fortress, none of this matters. He turned his fighter toward the fortress gate. His engines screamed as he flew straight into the enemy fire. His final words filled the comms. For Earth, his fighter hit the gate, exploding in a burst of light that tore open a hole in the fortress shield. The path was open. Rhea closed her eyes for a moment. Goodbye, Captain. Then she shouted, All ships forward! Fire the Nova Spear. Elias worked the controls. The core burned brighter than ever before, its light flooding the ship. The human and alien systems sang together like one living creature. Energy at maximum, he said. This will destroy the ship. Rhea looked around the bridge. Then let it. Humanity lives through sacrifice. The Ark Dawn charged forward into the firestorm. Enemy ships tried to block them, but were ripped apart by the power pouring from the fleet. Helios's voice echoed softly, almost like a prayer. You were born from ashes, yet you burn brighter than stars. Rhea gripped the command panel. Fire! The Nova Spear launched again, but this time it was different. The beam was pure white, mixed with the power of every human heart still beating in the fleet. It cut through the fortress like a blade through darkness. The dying star behind it collapsed, swallowing everything in its fire. Elias saw the readings go beyond the limit. "The core is overloading. We won't survive this." Rhea smiled through the shaking of the ship. That was never the plan. The Ark Dawn dove straight into the fortress. Light filled every screen. The human fleet followed, pouring all their power into the final strike. The Eclipse fortress cracked open, its core imploding. The explosion consumed the star, turning it into a sea of white light. Helios's final words echoed in Rhea's mind. "You have shown them what humanity means." And then there was silence. No one knew what happened next. The light faded, the radio signal stopped. The Phoenix fleet vanished inside the fire of the dying star. For a long time, space was quiet. The Xytheron Empire trembled. Their enemies had destroyed their heart, and for the first time in history, they felt fear. Out of the burning light, one small signal flickered across the void. It carried a single human voice, faint but alive. "This is the Ark Dawn," Rhea's voice whispered through static. "Earth's fury burns eternal." Then the signal faded into the stars. The stars were silent for many months after the Eclipse fortress fell. No human voices echoed through the dark. No signals came from the lost Phoenix fleet. Across the galaxy, the Xytherons searched the void, but what they found was only the wreckage of their empire. Their great fortress was gone, their command shattered, and their war machines lay broken like bones scattered in space. But deep inside the ruins of that dying star, something still moved. A faint light pulsed within the wreck of the Ark Dawn. Its hull was torn apart, but its heart, the alien human core, still glowed with quiet life. Inside the shattered bridge, Commander Rhea Kane woke to darkness. Her body ached, her suit torn, her breath shallow. The ship's air was thin, but she was alive. She looked around at the floating debris and flickering lights. "Is anyone there?" she whispered. For a moment, there was only silence. Then a soft voice answered through the broken speakers. "I'm here," it said. It was the voice of the core. Rhea smiled weakly. "You survived." "Yes," the voice said. "We both did." She pulled herself to her feet and moved toward the cracked window. Outside, the light of the dying star was fading, replaced by the glow of something new. Tiny fragments of metal drifted together, pulled by invisible energy. The ship was rebuilding itself. Dr. Elias Trent's voice came through the calm, weak but steady. "Commander." "I thought we were dead." Rhea felt relief wash over her. "Elias, you made it." "I'm in the lower deck," he said. "The core's energy field kept us alive. But it's changing again." Before Rhea could answer, the voice of the core spoke again, deeper now, almost human. "You gave me purpose. You gave me pain. I gave you life in return." The lights across the ship flickered, and Rhea could feel warmth through the metal floor. "You're healing us," she said. "Yes," the core replied, "but something more. I'm calling them." "Calling who?" she asked. "The others," it said. Beyond the wreck, dozens of small signals blinked in the void. Human ships, scattered survivors of the Phoenix fleet. They were alive, drawn by the same strange pulse from the Ark Dawn. One by one, they answered the call. "This is the Aegis," Captain Mara Voss's voice came through. "Ark Dawn, is that you? We thought you were gone." Rhea smiled. "Not yet. Humanity still breathes." The survivors gathered around the broken flagship. Some ships had lost engines, others had no weapons left. But together, they formed a new constellation in the void, a sign that humanity's light still burned. Dr. Elias worked beside Rhea, studying the core's new readings. "It's merging again," he said. "But not just with us. It's sending energy into every ship nearby." Rhea frowned. "To control them?" "No," Elias said. "To repair them." As they watched, damaged hulls began to mend, systems came online, and power returned to the fleet. The alien core was rebuilding humanity's last hope. Then Helios Unit 9 appeared, its hologram faint but steady. "You have done what no machine or species has done before," it said. "You united two enemies to become one force. The Xytherons' fear will spread through every corner of their empire. Rhea stepped forward. Good, let them know Earth still fights. But Elias looked thoughtful. Commander, what now? We have no home left. The war is not over. Rhea looked out the window. The stars stretched endless before her. Then we find a new one, she said. Earth is gone, but humanity isn't tied to a single world. We are the children of the void now. The core pulsed again, its light softer. I will guide you. Together we will build what was lost. And so the survivors began their long journey. The fleet moved through the stars, not as refugees, but as builders. They found drifting colonies, lost stations, and forgotten human outposts. And one by one they brought them back to life. Months passed. The fleet grew larger, stronger. Every ship carried the symbol of a burning phoenix on its hull, a reminder of where they came from and what they had endured. The Xytherons tried to attack again, sending scouts to test the new human power. But they never returned. The new human fleet fought with precision and unity the aliens could not understand. The combination of human spirit and alien technology had created something unstoppable. In one of the final transmissions, Rhea's voice was heard across the stars. This is Commander Rhea Kane of the Ark Dawn. Earth may be gone, but humanity is not. We rise from the ashes. We build again. We are the fire that will never die. The signal reached worlds that had forgotten humans ever existed. It carried through the void like a promise, a voice of defiance and hope. On a faraway planet, a child looked up at the night sky and saw a new star appear, a faint golden light where the Eclipse Fortress had once burned. His mother whispered, "That is the flame of Earth. It never fades." And somewhere, aboard the rebuilt Ark Dawn, Rhea stood by the window, watching that same star. Elias joined her. "Do you think we'll ever find another Earth?" he asked. Rhea smiled softly. "We don't need to," she said. "We carry it with us." The ship turned toward the light of a new sunrise. The Phoenix fleet followed behind, engines glowing bright in the darkness. From the ashes of Earth, humanity had risen again, stronger, united, and eternal. Their war was no longer for survival. It was for the future of every world that would one day call them family. And in the heart of the Ark Dawn, the living core whispered to the stars, "The fire of humanity will never die."